Hey everybody, this is JJ. I'm just doing a little thing for myself. Kind of going over some of the stuff I have. I'm gonna break this up into parts right now. It's just gonna be my Game Boys, my colors, my pocket, my NeoGeo. Just because I feel like they're all in very similar handheld eras where this is like right before backlights were really common. Um, and kind of just going over some of the games I have for them and my history with it, and just want to do a fun little thing for myself. If you enjoy it, enjoy it. Well, I guess I should start. The Game Boy Pocket, actually, this is a more recent pickup. I actually grabbed this because I have a copy of both blue and. There we go. Is it in the color now? Where is... Oh, I know where my... Hold on. I forgot. I was using my Pokemon Silver in my stadium because I was just trying to see what it was like to play with it on there. But I had a copy of Blue and Silver that I had for quite a while now. Blue was my original copy, Silver was also, but these are not my original copies. These were actually gifted to me, I don't know how long ago, by my friend Steve. If you're watching this, Steve, I still have them. But he didn't want to play with them anymore. He had no inkling or anything he wanted to do with them, so he gave them to me, and since then I've held on to them. He did have a copy of Red and Gold, but I did sell them to someone who also really wanted a copy of Pokemon and really wanted to play the old games. So I did that. I figured that was a better way to give out. I don't like holding on to copies of games just because. If I have a copy, I'm happy. Like, I don't need every Pokemon game because, be honest, we can cheat our way through them. Who cares? Um, so, long as you have an action replay or something, a little more fun. But this Game Boy Pocket, I was in. One of our locals used to be at a mix of a game store, and like they would sell their consoles and and like games and etc. Um, and this was one of the ones I found there, and I found it because I had this Game Boy Color. I've had this Game Boy Color. This is my original copy. This is actually surprisingly like I don't know if you can fully tell. You can see my setup here, but it's a little scratched up, a little messed up. Um, it's not perfect, but it's my original. You know, I've had this thing for God knows how long, um, and since I got these two, I was just like I want to do trading between them. So I had to collect everything. I had to go buy that cords, etc. Which I do believe I have. I have a four-way cord, but third party from Retro Renewal, if I recall right. Yeah. Um, but these things are very fun. I enjoyed them. The only thing I don't do with them, honestly, at this point, is play with them, and that's because I have this bad boy. This is my first fully custom Game Boy Color. Um, I'll show you kind of like why. Backlight. There's certain things I'm just like I can do without, but at this point, like an LCD screen, just on these things makes playing so much easier. Um, I did harvest it from uh, this Game Boy that I grabbed from GameStop? Yeah, I think it was a GameStop. I was in Texas, and we went into a GameStop not really expecting much, because at the time someone was like, oh, maybe you find something. I was like, alright, sure, I'll take a look. I see an old, like, couple of dudes in the front talking about, oh my god, that was there when I was a kid, blah, 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 and so, like, my ears perked up, which is the funniest thing to me. So I'm like, huh? well, hold on, hold on. What do you got? And I walk over and they don't buy it. They're just looking at it, holding it, and I'm like, what do you got there? GameStop employee tells me Game Boy. I was like, oh, sweet. Oh, and it's in the color I don't like. I don't like yellow. I really don't like this like variant of yellow. The camera doesn't quite show it, but it's not the best. But I was like, you know what I can do? I something with my collections is that I want to try and keep an original copy as is, no matter what. I don't want to finagle with every single thing I get. I don't want every single piece of my tech to be like filled to the brim with new stuff. I want to be able to show off like this is what it looked like before. You know, I need you to see how ugly this was, and also the beauty of like not always being able to do it whenever you wanted. There is a beauty and the history to these things that I want to maintain for my own self. So that's why I have this as my play Game Boy. This is the one I take out. This is the one I actually do go outside, and as you can even see, I still got batteries in them because I took them my local last week. But I wanna keep them. So these are my Game Boys. These are the ones I do use these when I do want to trade. These are actually in use. I don't just use the Stadium 2 because I think it's more of a pain in the ass to like swap in and out, turn on and off than just trade between, you know. And it's super easy to unlock the trade betweens on these. It's not like fire red, leaf green to the Hallwin. But I'll kind of keep these in view. See if you like looking at them. The NeoGeo, on the other hand, I have no history with this. I have never in my life played one or owned one until now, and I'm a big old SNK lover. I love SNK games. I think they're fun. I think they're probably the most innovative of the big fighting game, arcade game like people era. And this NeoGeo Pocket, I believe, is a Japanese exclusive color. I'll have to double check that one. But I did find this at a MagWest. I believe the seller was Point Crow, if I recall the seller. Fantastic dude. We just talked, back and forth about like modding and everything else. Because as you can see, I do some modding. I have more Game Boy Advance mods than I do Color. I think Color is just incredibly easy, so that's especially at this point, so I don't bother. But if I recall right, it should be, yes, it came with this game. We were talking, shooting the shit, and he was using this as a demonstration game, but he sold this to me with it, and since then it's been like one of my more fun, like off the cuff, like I'm just playing this to play this. Something that never gets talked about is, I'm very bad at this camera thing. This, you might not hear it, is so cathartic. This stick feels fun to use. I genuinely wish we had more micro switches in like arcade sticks even. That would make them so much more feasible for like what you're feeling out, but without taking away the like analog control, because like there is a beauty to analog, but like I've never been able to do half circles on such a tiny thumbstick in my life so nicely. Well, that's some of the handhelds. I kind of want to go over some of the games I have. So of course I showed off a little earlier Pokemon Blue and Silver. I don't think I need to go over anything on them. Kirby's Dream Land 2. Game I played once on emulator and never owned myself, but like I had to get one. I believe this was also gotten in Texas. TCG Pocket. Just a fun little way to learn the basics of the trading card game from when I was little. I played a lot of this. I was very bad at it. I'll be real. Card games are not like my expertise. I'm okay at them. I've been even messing around with, or sorry, I said TCG Pocket, didn't I? Yeah, I've been messing with TCG Pocket trading card game. Um, Crystal, which I recently obtained, and I actually got the Japanese version, one because it's way cheaper, and two because it's way cooler. The PCB has Suikun's Crystal on it, which is just not something that NA did at all for some reason, and this is cool as hell. Like, why do we not have this? If I could get this on a like regular, if I could get an English ROM on this thing, that would be fantastic, and that would literally complete my life. Um, Oracle of Ages. This was gifted to me by my roommate because he didn't use it. I actually owned Seasons, and I don't know what happened to it. It's probably got lost in one of my many moves. I've moved quite a bit since I was about 18. 18 was just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth movements. Um, so, not too bad. This game, straight up just doesn't work. It's one of those Capcom quiz games. I found it because I was just like, I don't know what this is, and I bought it at I believe the Cave. Uh, like, just out of whim. There are some games I'm just willing to burn and like take a chance on. If it's like $3, I'm like, oh sure, whatever. You know, what's $3? A lot in this economy, but the other one that I have that I actually am really glad I grabbed. This has been like one of my fun like I playing this like for like an hour or two games. It's a Sailor Moon game that has multiple mini games and also like a weird Mega Man esque level with single handedly like the best sounding intro I've ever heard from a Game Boy game. Um, if I could actually might be able to like quickly you might be able to quickly hear it. That is just magnificent to me. It also does the honestly the I like this better in black and white, so this might be a game I mess around with on my Game Boys, uh, rather than the color. But it's a very fun game. Um, Honestly, if you have a chance to like look it up, there's a long play of it. Uh, I would. It's just fun. But that kind of concludes it, I think, for this first episode. I'm not sure if I'm going to trim down anything or just upload as is, but that's everything in my collection currently. Well, stick around. I will be going over other things. I have some Game Boy Colors. I have some PSPs. I have other like big consoles, so my N64, my Xbox, and I'm going to be going over all of them. Stuff I have, some history. I figured this would be fun. Collecting is not exactly like a cheap hobby now. And at this point, like, I need to tell. There's one thing I will say. Collect for you, not for the cash. Don't worry about the price of things. As long as you're making sure you're getting a good price for it, like, price for you.